Rock and Reiki LLC, Lisa King. Check her out. She's a Reiki master and a certified crystal healing practitioner. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm trying to read the words, but the thing's getting in the way. And body worker. Sorry about that. I'm using iMovie to edit this, and the recording thing that's showing how loud I'm talking is in my way. Rock and Reiki, check her out. I love her. She is fucking amazing. And yeah, Rock and Reiki, Lisa King, baby. Hello there, this is Colton's Connections podcast. This is season 1, episode 17. Today we have a very special guest, Tim Maceyko.
Colton, I'm wearing the Colton is cool hat.
I know, I normally wear the fedora, but this time you wore it.
Yeah, I thought it'd be you. Older. Older version.
Older version of me. So, well, first of all, we got this amazing book right here, Snuggle Time. What is it? Seth's Snuggle Time Game. You can get this on Amazon.
Yeah.
Is that the only place?
Yeah, I don't know if it's any of the bookstores. I've seen it some other places, but Amazon's the primary spot where I promote it and put it out there.
And then your other books that you have, right?
Yeah, When the Cardinal Calls is also available on Amazon, other sites like that. And then Child Loss 101, which I'm kind of revamping that book. I may actually replace that with an updated version because it's kind of old, and I've learned a lot since I wrote that book. So
yeah,
I want to update it and
change it a little bit.
Yeah, any book you write, you want it to be useful to people. You don't like waste their time reading it if it's not valuable.
Yes, agreed.
And so I think that book has a lot of base value in it, but I think it could be a lot better. And so I'm working to revamp that one.
Nice. I'll be purchasing that. You got me one of these a long time ago, and I think I gave it to one of my cousins because they were younger, and they're like, I want this. I'm like, okay, you can have it.
Well, it was funny. After I wrote that book, it was like, okay, so how do we make it like fun, interactive, right?
Yes.
And so in the story, the little monkey plays a snuggle time game with his dad. He goes through his nightly ritual, and he ends the night with his dad playing his snuggle time game. And so after you read the story, at the end, SJ the monkey teaches the reader how to play the snuggle time game, like step by step.
Oh, I love that.
Do this with your parent and do that with your parent. And so the book's meant to be like a fun read. It's also meant to like remind people the value of those special moments when our kids are little, because they're not little forever.
Yeah.
And cherish that. And I found the kids just love that, learning to play their own snuggle time game. And at the end of the day, it's just hugs and snuggles with mom and dad. And that's a cool thing.
Don't get better than that.
No. And then we put another, because there's a cardinal on every page in the book, which I'll talk about that here a little bit. But the cardinal, we're like, how do we tie this in? It's just a cardinal on every page. Like, what do we do with it? So we kind of did like a Where's Waldo theme, where at the second game at the end of the book is like, go back and count all the cardinals.
Oh, I like that.
And we found like the little 2-year-olds-ish, 3-year-olds, they love going back and like, there's one, and they count them.
Have they ever messaged you on social media, the number of?
Actually, I don't think I've done that, but I get that. That's the feedback I get all the time. Is like, oh, they love playing the, find the cardinal game. That's always the big thing that I hear. And people will say they have this on their bookshelf, and that a lot of their kids, as they grow older, still love and go to the bookshelf and pull that one out when they say it's a nightly read.
I bet that just
makes you feel really good. Yeah, because, you put a lot of heart and soul into a book, and then to hear these kids bonded with the book and it's a favorite book for some of them, that's really cool. Especially all the great books out there, right? I mean, this was self-published, so this isn't like it was on the big author list and all the stores. This was something that's exclusive to my story.
It's done well, though, I think. You've even got to give it to some famous people, right? Kelly Pickler?
Yeah, Kelly Pickler was given a copy of the book when she was in town for a concert. I got to get that in her hands. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I've sent it out to a few other people, too, but I don't know whoever actually read it.
Yeah.
But just part of the marketing thing, going out and trying to get the word out about it.
Yes.
Yeah, so it was really cool. But yeah, this book came, obviously, as you know, out of a very negative place in life. And it kind of serves for me as a reminder that as bad as life can be, good things can happen.
Yeah.
As like I would have never written this book if I hadn't lost my son. Right.
Yeah.
This book would have never been developed. Would have never gotten put out
Well, for
there.
those of you guys that don't know, would you like to tell them a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, we can. I mean, you know the backstory on it. So, it was 2013, and one day I dropped my son off to the babysitter, and the next morning, or that afternoon, early evening, I should say, get a call at work, and there was an accident. I rushed home, and next thing we know, we're in the ER, and Seth didn't make it. And so 5 years old was such a little precious soul, and gone that quick. And in that moment, when you lose a child like that, the world just stops.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you thought you knew is just turned upside down. And now you have to figure out, how do I go on? How do I survive? People talk about, well, it'll get better with time. It doesn't get better with time when it comes to child loss. Like, I lost my grandparents, all of them. I lost some really good friends, my father, a cousin, an aunt who I just adored like a second mom. Like,
yeah,
I've lost a lot of really precious people in my life, but man, nothing was like that losing a child. It's just so abnormal.
Yeah.
And I think the hard thing is that every year it's another reminder of what they didn't get to do. Mm-hmm. Like for us, this would have been the end of Seth's junior year of high school. So this next year, I'm sure, is going to be excruciating, because it would have been his senior year, and all these things get posted on Facebook by your friends and family and everything, and you're going to be like happy for them, but also really sad, because you're like, yeah, he's supposed to be there, and he's not. So that's tough. It's tough. What do you think?
I think you're strong.
Well, I appreciate that, but like your
and inspiring. I mean, to go through what you've went through and then turn around and help people. That takes a warrior. It takes a soldier. Well,
I appreciate that. I think like even your family was there after we went through. Early on, you get propped up by the love of your family, your friends, and in my case, the whole community, right? Mm-hmm. But the difficulty is, at some point, whether it's a few days, a few weeks, a few months, at some point, they all have to go back to their lives.
Yeah.
And your life is not the same.
Not the same.
And now you're alone in the house, and people aren't calling, they aren't checking on you. And that's when it gets hard for people. And that's when you start having those doubts about, like, can I do this?
Yeah.
And so I always tell people when I talk to them,
a couple months later, everyone goes on like nothing happened. And
and you also struggle with, like, how long do you talk about it? Because you get to a point where you're like, it's on your mind, but then some people are like, oh, they just need to move on and get over it, and but that's reality.
Yeah, it is reality.
And so when I work with people who've lost a child, or help them out and things, that's always the common thing I hear. It's like, people don't understand. I can't get over it.
They don't understand until life humbles them.
Yeah. Well, and I said the thing is, I think those are bad terms. You don't move on. You don't get over it. I heard this term. I thought it was the best term I've ever heard. Was, you just try to move forward. You're going to live with it. You're going to be scarred. Life's not going to be the same, but you have to learn to move forward a step at a time, and just keep trying, because it's always going to be there. It may change forms. Some days may be worse than others, but every birthday, every death day, it's always going to be there. And that's just the reality of what we face when you're a bereaved parent. So, life's tough.
Yeah.
Life's tough. But, you also, I think a lot of parents do this. You want people to remember them. And so you try to honor them. There's one gentleman I know, he does, his son was Max. He committed suicide, I think, I would say at 19. My age might be off, but and him and his wife have done some great things in northern Ohio, here northwest. They have Max's Mile or something, or it's like a 5K or something that they do every year, and they get people to come out and do that. And he has like Max's Music once a year, where they have this big music thing where the people come and sing and showcase them, and they raise money for the foundation for like suicide awareness and all these types of things. I mean, just really cool stuff. And I really admire him and his wife for doing those things, because I don't know how to do all that. I mean, I guess I could, but that's not something I really do like they do. I just think it's really cool when people can do that.
Because they're not only, keeping on their name, but they're bringing people together, you know? And
they're raising money for a good cause.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of people want to do. They want to remember their son or their daughter in a positive way, or their loved one.
What is that video because it made me cry. I teared up. You had all the people that lost their kids, and you did a song with it, and I think it was on Christmas.
Yeah, maybe. Christmas Without You. Yeah. Yeah, I had written that, and then I went on. I just created kind of a slideshow, like a presentation with the music as the background, and I asked people to send in pictures of their loved ones, not just children, but like their grandpa and grandma, their spouse, whoever they might have lost in their life that they loved. Mm-hmm. And so I had a lot of people.
Make sure it's still recording.
A lot of people, sent that in, and it was really cool. It was really cool, and I was able to put this slideshow together. And it's not high tech per se, but it was really well received, and I think it made a lot of people smile and feel good last Christmas to be able to see their loved one on this little short video.
Is it still? Can people still find it?
Yeah, it's on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like on Facebook, you might have to scroll.
Yeah.
A little bit.
No. If you go to YouTube and you put in "Christmas Without You," Tim Maceyko, you're definitely going to find it. And along with a couple other songs that I've been working on and putting on there, I played one for you before the show.
Mm-hmm. The suicide one is my favorite.
Fight Another Day. It was funny because I wrote that one and I was at work at my job at ODOT. And one day I had a meeting with another person, came in, a consultant, and all these people came in. We had this big meeting going on. And this lady sitting there said, "You're the famous person." And I go, "Famous? What?" I didn't know what she was talking. I had no idea. Well, apparently she had seen the video because somebody shared the video, and I guess it was getting around.
Yeah.
And somebody shared it with her, and she saw the Fight Another Day video and just thought the song was really great. And just so I think people that
There you go. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not quite like that because I was like, well, it's okay, But, I mean, I think it's good, but again,
I think that's the artist mentality. I mean, you put your heart and soul in it, but when people like it, it's hard to be like, yeah, you're right, it was good.
You're so critical of yourself and what you do. That's you're the same way with your stuff when you do it.
Very.
You hear it and you go, ugh.
Yeah.
But I will say this, out of all the songs I've written, there's only maybe, and I've probably written like 20, 25 songs so far. Mm-hmm. I've only put a couple out for people to see. Most of it's still in the library and I'm still working to perfect it. But out of all the songs I've written, Fight Another Day is probably one of my favorites because it's so powerful. It's so impactful. It's about suicide. It's about learning to fight another day. And I wrote that because after losing my son and got quiet in the house and those hard times came, I felt very lonely.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have those thoughts. And I was really struggling, like, am I going to get through today?
What I liked a lot about your song, it's like singing to the person, telling them they're supposed to be here. They have a reason that they're here. That's what I got out of it. You have a reason why you're alive. And that's what I felt when I heard it.
Well, when I talked to a lot of people who struggle with adversity. That's kind of my shtick, right? That's what I like to do. That's my way of giving back. And when I talk to people who have those kinds of thoughts and feelings and everything, that's usually the core thing is like they feel alone, but most importantly, they feel hopeless. The hopeless thing is, I think, the big thing. And that song was about that. It was about how do we, that forest, no big deal. It's very windy, but it's beautiful out.
Yeah. Just picked up too.
Yeah, just out of the blue.
Ohio.
Yeah, welcome. But yeah, I just think that song was meant to be like speaking to you. You are loved. There is hope. Keep the faith. Fight another day. Keep going. Right. That's what the song's all about. And you just hit on it too. I think good songwriting is all about writing lyrics that connect with people.
Yes, relatable. Something you can like. It feels like, when I'm listening to this song, it felt like you were talking to me. Nobody else but me. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to. There's a couple songs I wrote like that, but that one and one other one were really, there's another one that I called The Angels of Love. It's very similar to the one I shared with you in a way, and it's about the same thing, about how difficult life can be. Mm-hmm. And that one's like, but the angels of love will lift you up. Like,
oh, I love that. So
it's a really beautiful one too. And those are probably two of my favorites. A lot of the other stuff I've written, it might be more some of the stuff is the boy band mentality. It's just fun. It's upbeat. It's a good time. You know, it's having
The
a party.
boy band thing was cool. I was like, I was sitting here with my mouth open, like,
yeah,
thinking it was like Backstreet Boys type stuff. I mean,
well, and I wrote it with that mentality. So I write my songs that I then perform that I think fits me and my style and my voice and everything. And then I wrote a bunch of stuff that I'm like, I'm not singing this. I'm not going to go out the club and be on the stage and doing these things. And so I use AI
unless you pay him. Everyone pay him, because I want to see that.
But I use AI though to create a lot
Yeah.
of those songs, to bring those words to life. And then some people are against that AI stuff, as you and I talked about. But I think if you embrace it the right way, like I would never.
I think art's art. No matter how it's created, it's art, and it's.
Well, I don't like the idea of just you use Chat GPT to write the song for you, then you stick it into a thing and you press a button and it produces the music and you're done. There's your product.
I'm against that.
I mean, where's the creativity there, right?
Yeah.
So I would never do that, because I want to write every song I put out. I write.
You're writing all the songs. You're coming up with the lyrics. And what you're hoping, the hope is that maybe someone will come along and be like, I want to do cut on this, you know? Because I think that's what's going to happen with that Suicide song. That's a hit.
You know, and I think that would be awesome, right? I mean, I'm doing it. So one of the reasons I started doing writing the music to begin with, Colton, is simply that I wanted something for my own podcast. I wanted music that I could play. But as you know, you get copyright infringement and you have all these issues. You can't do it. And then you have to
pay all this, that.
So there was a girl who I really like one of her songs, and I reached out to her, and she's no well-known person, but she had some really good music. And I said, hey, I would love you to create a intro song for me for my podcast. You know, would you do that? She said, I'd love to. And she knew my backstory. And so she knew this is more of a nonprofit type of mentality. And she said, I'd love to do it. Only $5,000. And I went, only $5,000? Well, I don't know where she comes from, but where I come from here in Ohio, most of us don't have an extra $5,000 just laying around.
Most of us are like trade labor. I'll do this for you if you do this for me.
Right. And so really that's what got me into looking and researching ways that I could create and bring music to life. Because I always liked writing. And I'm like, it can't be that hard to write music, right? So I started writing, and then at first couple was like, yeah, that's not very good. And then I got the flow down, and then I feel like I've got a whole library of really strong stuff. But they're all written so that I can use them on my podcast, free of copyright issues.
Not have to pay a dime on anything.
And now I'm taking to the next level, though, where I'm trying to create some TikTok videos with some of them. I'm working on creating videos for the YouTube channel. And because the music has gotten what I feel is pretty solid and good reception, that I'm like, I need to get this out there in a different way.
You're getting good feedback already.
Yeah, so far. Yeah. For the few people I've shared it with, right? So I'm thinking, if I really want to market
your Christmas one was public, and that took off.
That one did well. And I don't think that was my best one, but it was emotional, and it was connecting with people because it was people they knew and people or they could even see themselves.
Even without, because I played it first without looking at it, because I was like, oh, this is one of his songs. I'm like, hey, this is good. This is good. And then I look down and I start watching it. And then that's when the tears came down, and it was just, so even without the pictures,
well, thank you.
You're going to get a Grammy.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm a little hick town boy. I'm nothing special. I got a fancy hat on today, but that's about it. Yeah, normally I have my ball hat on, or no hat. But
we trade personalities today.
Well, you know, I said, okay, this is going to be on video, and I have more gray hair, and a hat would hide more of it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why the hat's on. Yeah, I was like, less gray hair on film.
Be proud of age.
Yeah. Oh, you'll notice all my
Cher, she's proud of it. Yeah. With her good doctor and her wigs, right?
Yeah. And your nutritionist, your exercise. Yeah. Give me all that, I'll be all right. It's funny though, because like my videos, like, I'm not really in my videos because I don't like being on video. I really don't.
You don't? No, are you okay with this?
Oh, yeah. No, it's fine.
He'll only be on my channel because he loves me.
I played around with the video a little bit. I'm not a big video guy. I'm like a lot of people are like me, probably. Like, you look at a video and you go, oh, that person looks great. And then you look yourself on and you're like, oh my gosh.
That's what
That's one of the ugliest people I've ever seen in my life. What's wrong with that dude? Like, where'd he come from?
And then you look at all your features that you don't like when you're watching it. And then my biggest problem is I cannot stand my voice. So when I'm re-listening to my stuff, I'm just like, God, I just want my guest to tell me to shut up, you know?
Well, I had someone say, I was doing a podcast with them, and they're like, "Oh, you have such a great radio voice." And then I listened to it, and I was like, "What are they hearing?" I think that sounds atrocious. Like, you hear it different, you see yourself different, and then some days you think you look good, and you actually look like crap, right? You go,
yeah.
"Oh, how do I think I look good?"
You think you look good, you look like crap.
Yeah. So a hat helps, right? Whether it's a ball hat or a fedora,
yeah,
helps you look a little better, Throw
wear
some sunglasses with
shirt
it.
Where people will be like, "Ooh, I like your shirt." It'll look at.
See, I got this one, The Wicked Sister, Drink Up. My wife was out in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. I guess this is a popular, well, at least it was a popular eatery, and like a bar eatery type place. And so
where was it?
The Upper Peninsula in Michigan, like the Upper PI up towards the lake.
Like the top.
Yeah, she said you can look out over the water and see Canada. So it's nice. Up in that. And she said it was a beautiful. A lot of people
ride a
told
roller coaster in Cedar Point, you can see Canada.
That's true. That's true. But a lot of people told me that area is beautiful, and she got up for work, and she's like, "Oh, it was gorgeous." And so I always want to go up there just to see it. But I'm a Ohio State Buckeye at heart, so it's kind of hard to go to that state up north.
Oh, shut up! You're just mad because we've been kicking your ass since when? What year?
I don't know who's the national title champions this year. Last year.
Oh, shut up! Oh, shut up! I only watch one football game a year.
Well, that's Michigan. You've been very happy the last 4 years, haven't you? Or 3 years, whatever it's been. That's fine. It seems like forever.
I liked watching.
But on the flip side, Ohio State had all those years in a row too. So
yeah,
it balances.
We won't talk about that.
Yeah, I'm not going there. We're not here for that today, right?
No,
we're here to help people, not to be divisive.
When the game does happen, we should do another podcast.
Yeah, analyze it.
Get
your dad on. He'd love doing that.
He'll probably know more than what I know.
He knows a thing or two.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I enjoy writing the music. I enjoy writing the books, and I always enjoyed like what you do. I mean, I love what you do with the whole readings and stuff. And I've seen you in concert, and you do some really cool stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah. So back when Seth died, it was funny because you knew things that you shouldn't have done, and so that always impressed me. I'm like, that was on social media. How did Colton know that, right?
Yeah.
And so I just think it's a special gift that not everybody has, and so I think that's really cool. It's really cool. You have that capability, and you help a lot of people by sharing that gift. I think that's what it's all about.
Feels good. I mean, sometimes when I'm struggling like with depression and stuff, and then I think about what I do and my purpose, and that's what gets me going. Make like what you do. Knowing that you help people and inspire people, that's the energy, that's the food. It feeds the soul.
Yeah. It's so funny how you mentioned your depression, and you have your own issues that you've gone through and struggles and battles. And I think the people that are some of the most giving people are like that.
Yeah.
They're dealing with their own demons, and people don't realize it. They oh, you're so great and you're so wonderful, but they don't realize that when you're alone, you're struggling.
That's when it's struggle. It's real.
Yeah. Brian Deskins, Jordan Deskins' dad. Was my daughter's age, right? After Seth died, he was one of the people that checked in on me regularly, even a year later. Like everybody else had kind of gone back to their lives, like as we talked about earlier, and done their thing. But man, every time you knew that he was going to send a message. And one morning he sent me a message. It was Christmas morning. And he said, I'm watching I forget the exact words, but it was beautiful. He wrote really well. But he wasn't a very talkative guy, so he would never say anything like that in public, but he wrote wonderful, beautiful messages. And he wrote about how he was watching his daughters open their presents that Christmas morning. And, just brings tears to my eyes even now that you think about it, because he was like, but knowing there's a family missing one this morning breaks my heart.
Oh,
it was just very beautiful, and he very eloquently, and that's the kind of guy he was. And he said, I had a lot of.
That's a guy that walks with gratitude.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and he said something, that message I didn't pick up on at the time, but he said, couldn't sleep again last night. A lot of things in my mind, including you and your family. And I'm like, oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you so much for thinking of us. What I didn't hear was, I'm struggling. I was up last night again.
Yeah.
It never hit me until That following year, he committed suicide.
Oh.
And I thought about that message a lot after the fact.
Yeah.
Hindsight's easy, right? And I thought, man, I was so busy in my own pain and my own difficulty, and I was appreciative of his friendship, but I never thought to ask him, how are you doing?
Yeah.
I wasn't mentally in a place probably to do that, but that aside, in hindsight, God, I wish I would have, right?
Yeah.
Because when we buried him, I was a pallbearer, and Heather, his wife, had asked if she could put his site by Seth's.
Oh.
And so he's literally catted corner across. Like you say at Seth, you're looking at Brian. You're saying at Brian, you're looking at Seth. And I was a pallbearer in that day, and we laid him to rest right next to Seth, basically. And it was on Seth's birthday.
Wow.
I mean, what are the chances of that, right? And so after that, it was I don't know, maybe a year later or so, Heather and her daughters and me and my wife and our daughter decided to take a trip to Florida just to get away and have a little vacation together.
Mm-hmm.
So we rented a van. We
all go to Disney World again.
We did.
I knew it. You
downtown. We went to downtown Disney. We didn't go to Disney World.
Oh,
actually, that's my wife. But anyway, that's her story.
It's Tim. He loves Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Mickey Mouse fan. And once you've been there enough as an adult, it's like, okay, I don't need to go here anymore. But as a kid, I loved going there. Yeah. And I do like taking your kids there because it is beautiful to see the joy on their face, the excitement when they've never seen it before.
Yeah.
It might cost you thousands of dollars, but
think
it's that
about
joy.
It. They watch all those movies and it's like jumping in that movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, and being a kid and with imagination, that has to be like.
Well, we're going to go off topic here for a minute because I went to I was at a work conference and I did a bunch of training classes and thing. And this key speaker used to work for Disney in the animation department, Pixar and all that kind of stuff, that whole, when that was coming out really popular. And he said, what is the number one shopping center in the world? And everyone's like, oh, the Minneapolis place, and like they're naming it. He's like, you're all wrong. He said, the biggest grossing shopping centers in the world is Disney World, Disneyland, and then something else, Disney, like across Europe or something. But his point was, they're all built for shopping. The rides are secondary. He said, like, when you think about it, every ride you come out of, you go into a store. Main Street's all stores. Everything's it's all set up to sell.
Wow, I didn't.
And he goes, and people don't even think of that. And I never thought about it until he said it. And I'm like, it's true. It is the ultimate marketing shopping center.
Yeah.
You get a ride,
all
have
the
some fun.
Merchandise.
Yeah,
and
all the food. I mean, so anyways, there's an interesting side story. But anyways, so Heather and I and my wife, the kids went down and we got a hotel room. And we decided just to share a room to save some cost. And out of all this huge hotel, out of all the rooms in there, we got number 1107. You go, okay, 1107. Well, the thing was, Brian died on 1107.
Oh my goodness.
That was the date. And then, of course, my son's number is 10. 1107, 10 is buried right in the middle of that. So we saw our number 10. They saw the 11/7 date. The two families had come together after loss, and it was just amazing.
Was that like that sign to you of validation that it was okay?
Yeah, I think.
For you in the sense.
See, if you had asked me years ago before Seth died, I'd been like, I don't believe in signs.
Yeah.
I think they're hokum, they're joke, whatever.
Yeah.
My wife always believed in them, but I never did. So many things have happened since he died that I'm way opposite. I do believe we get signs. I believe we don't see them. I believe that people say, oh, I've never got a sign. You're probably not in tune. You probably are getting things.
You got to really have to pay attention.
Yeah. And I think when you're in the most vulnerable state, you're more apt to notice these things.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that we all get them. And I think that was definitely a validation, that moment, that I'm glad you guys are together. We're here with you.
Yeah.
No
hard feelings.
Yeah. Well, and I think some people say, well, it doesn't work. If you're very religious, some traditional Christians will be like, oh, that doesn't work that way. I don't think any of us know how it works.
Yeah.
And so I try to keep an open mind to the fact that even if
we all don't truly know. I mean, we can have a grasp of an idea, but.
Well, I said, even if you say, oh, it's not my loved one, well, it's at least God guiding you, giving you comfort, right? I mean, that's, but because of what you do alone, you can't tell me it's not possible. Where's your messages coming from?
Yeah.
So.
And in the Bible, it says all good comes from God. So if it's good, then it must be coming from God. That's how I look at it. You can't the Bible can't just say one thing and then you just be like, oh, well, that's bad.
Yeah, yeah. I love Christianity. It's the way I was raised and everything. But I've also become more open-minded than I used. Like traditionally,
spiritual.
Yeah, I was raised in a Lutheran church, and that's very much like the Catholic Church is very rigid and.
Oh, that's more strict.
Yeah, it's very rigid in a lot of ways. And so my point is, I was raised in a way that I thought a certain way, and after losing Seth, my mind opened a little bit more. Doesn't mean I'm not still at my core a Christian in my belief system, but I'm also more aware of Buddhist, Hinduism, Taoism, the other faiths are out there, all the isms in the world, there's a lot of them. In the Eastern religions, in the sense that you can bring some value out of each one of those. Like, you don't have to believe everything they believe or believe in the gods they believe in, but yet meditation comes from over there. Yoga, all those really cool things that are in our society, in our world, and they're good for good reason too. They're good, right? They do a lot of good for people. But I think also any religion, it's what you take out of that, right? It's the positivity, how do I lead a life that it's more fulfilling? Really, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. And of course, you hope to get to heaven one day. Because I have a lot of people like, oh yeah, I don't believe in it.
You're going to hell.
A lot of people like, I don't believe in it. I'm like, well, good luck with that. I'll take my chances and roll the dice on the believing side, just because if it's there, I don't want to be wrong.
Well, and when you look at all the religions, they all pretty much, not all, but most of them, Buddhism, most of the ones you named, love one another, be your best self, treat people how you want to be treated. They all say the same thing. And a lot of them have punishments, like if you do bad, you go to a bad place, or you'll live multiple lives until you get it right. And I feel like they're all the same. It's like they're just different versions of God, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a great way to put it. I do think you can sit and argue that all day long, but I think at the core, all those religions have that core belief, like you just said, of it's meant to be better. You're meant to be better. You're meant to be more than what you are. And hopefully you live in love and enlightenment, and you're trying to be a better version than when you came in here, right? Mm-hmm. Go out better than when you came in, right? So I don't know. I think
I like the Buddha religion I get into a lot. I love that because meditation originated from that. A lot of the techniques that I practice, the mantras where you chant. Have you ever tried that?
I have not tried. I know about it, but I haven't tried it. Like, I know you chakras and all that. The crystals and everything. Yeah, I haven't done any of that stuff, but I've read a lot about it, and I'm fascinated. It's fascinated, like, why people like it. And then, so, like, on my podcast, what I always talked about was, like, I don't ask anybody to try anything or do anything that they don't want to do, but I think it's good to explore why other people enjoy something. Right? Yeah. Doesn't mean you have to do it or you have to believe it.
That's how I am. I like to, when in school and we were learning about all the different cultures and religions, that was my favorite class ever. And to this day, a lot of stuff in school, I can't remember what I learned because I didn't care about it,
Oh, yeah.
But that class, I remember everything because it was so interesting learning about the cultures. I'm not going to go join that culture, some of that stuff was not my thing, but I like to know the different unique things about people, why they like it, like you. I don't know, it's kind of like I'm a little journalist without doing the work, if that makes sense. Because, the journalists, they get to know all this information and they normally make money off it. But me, I just want to know.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think there's a lot of value in being open-minded and learning about if nothing else, why do people think and believe what they think and what they believe? Like, why?
And what's so their experience?
Yeah. And I think, like you said, what works for you may not work for me. What works for me may not work for you. That's fine. Mm-hmm. Like, who's to say? Like, doesn't mean you're wrong and I'm right, or I'm right and you're wrong, right? I mean, it could be whatever.
Yeah.
And I think people get too hung up on that. Like, oh, I've got to fit in, so I got to act a certain way. As I'm getting older, the one thing I'm learning I have learned is just be you. Yeah, people are going to judge you no matter what you do.
No matter what. No matter if you try to fit in or...
Yeah, and I think, I look back and you always try to act a certain way or be a certain way because you think that's how you have to be to fit in.
Yeah.
But just be you. And if they don't like you, oh well. Like, someone
Because
will.
in life, even though the tables around you are all full, there's an open seat somewhere waiting for your different gift. Because all of our gifts, all of our unique abilities are opportunities for other people. We're all supposed to connect. It's all about making connections and being that open door for someone, and someone else being that open door for you, you know?
Absolutely. You hit on it. Again, I think we, in our society, especially in America, we get too caught up in these culture wars and I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, I'm
Yeah.
straight, I'm gay, I'm fat, I'm skinny. Like, we just label everything.
Everything,
And then we have to
everything.
take a camp. I'm an Ohio State fan, you're a Michigan fan, right? We got to, yeah.
Hate
But,
each other.
we
Yeah,
joked about it a little bit ago, but people take us so serious.
they do. I mean, if you wear Ohio State on Michigan campus, you get called all these slurs. And if you do it here, and it's like, okay, messing around with one another, that's one thing. But I don't really agree with messing around with someone you don't know, like giving someone crap you don't know. It's like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
You don't really know that person. You don't know if they're autistic. You don't know if.
Yeah. 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 You don't know someone's story. And I think that's just part of what we do. We tend to judge, which is crazy because we're supposed to be a Christian nation.
Yeah.
And yet we're so busy judging everybody when don't judge, right? That's a very, very
And
base
another
thing.
thing is, I mean, look at the Christian religion. It's people have died because of it. The witch trials, back in the day when they did that, when people were slightly different, they were witches, so they burned them at the stake.
Yeah.
And it didn't say anywhere in the Bible to kill someone because they're different.
But they're a witch, Colton.
But they're a witch, so it makes it right, I guess.
That's okay at Halloween. No, but I get your point. Like, let people live unless they're hurting you or your family. Let them do their thing and be happy or unhappy. But
so I would say, like, it's more. I feel like most spiritual people are very independent. They're not. They don't classify as this or that. They're just in the middle. That's how I am. I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican. If I feel you're a good person, I'm going to vote for you. I don't care which party you're from.
Well, I think what bothers me about politics, and I always avoid talking politics because it's not worth it in this day and age, right? It's not worth expressing an opinion, and to me. And the reason I say that is because people get so caught up in this and get so serious about it and so overboard sometimes about it. I feel like it's affecting them in a negative way, and I don't want that to affect me in a negative way.
Yeah.
I mean, I have enough negativity with dealing with my loss of my son and all the other
got
difficulties.
Enough of your own crap going on.
Yeah, I don't need the other negativity to affect my life, and I feel like sometimes we get caught up. Social media is horrible about that, right? You see somebody else, and they have the perfect life, and my life sucks. And your life's probably no worse than theirs. They just put on a good front on social media, makes you feel worse about yourself.
Agreed.
When the fact is, we have a lot of that. So I think limit your social media, even though this is part of that, right? Social media. But it's so funny when people like me say that because social media, without it, I wouldn't be reaching people, right? Yeah. But at the same time, I think there's a time and a place for it.
It's like everything in life. Without the good, without the bad, you can't have the good. So, I mean, everything has their perks,
Yeah.
And yeah, social media has their good, but they definitely have their bad. I think it's all about what you follow, because on Facebook, I started just unfollowing people and following things that I like, and now I see things that are spiritual. I'm obsessed with history, so I see that a lot, or like Victorian places.
Yeah.
And that's what my Facebook. If you like things that are negative and drama, that's what's gonna pop up. That's the algorithm.
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
Cow.
Good job. You got
Look
the
at
word.
me in my vocab. Are you proud of me?
Yeah. Wow. Moving up.
You've really seen my vocab change through the years, haven't you?
Yeah, you'd have been like the owl. No, there's more to it.
You know the owl?
You know the owl? The owl on Facebook?
Who?
Yeah, exactly. No, you're right. It's funny because I watch a lot of Facebook Reels or TikTok Reels anymore, more than anything. But like on Facebook, same thing. It'll like know what you're looking at. And so lately, like all I seem to get are home improvement projects, like build a bar in your backyard. Yeah, I noticed. Build a bar in your backyard, or new patio ideas. And it's like, okay, I've looked at like 3 of those. Now I get like 100 of them popping up. but it's better than some of the things that could pop up, I guess.
Your yard's nothing but a hill.
Yeah, the front kind of slopes up, but the back's level. And I'd love to redo the whole back into something if ever get a little extra money and time.
Dig a pond in the front yard. That'd be awesome.
We thought about that when we first moved in because of what I was going to do in that front yard, right?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, less mowing, but
yeah.
But no, we never have. It's, it's money to put a pond in and maintain it properly.
I'll dig it for you.
Yeah.
As long as you do it with me. Or are you too old?
How about I sit on the front porch and watch it? How about
watch me?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Oh yeah. I'll dig it like a foot.
You're young. You have a good back. I don't have a good back anymore. But the right tools, you'd be fine.
I'd be over it.
So, yeah, I want to talk. We're talking about the Eastern religions, and you ever heard of kintsugi?
Kintsugi, no.
So
Did I say that right too?
Yeah, kintsugi, KINTSUGI, I believe.
Is that Japanese?
It is Japanese. Good, well done.
I can tell.
Yeah, I use this as my speech when I go out and talk to groups now because I found this phenomenal.
Did you talk about kintsugi, as I said, right?
Yeah.
At my show in McConnelsville? Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah, I probably did.
Yeah.
Probably did. But I just love the concept for anybody who happens to watch this. I just think it's one of the best analogies in the world, right? Because,
God, it's getting colder out here.
Yeah, the wind it's chilling out. Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, no, but anyway, I just think it's a fascinating storyline. In our culture, if I took a bowl, porcelain bowl, and I drop it right now. Oh, where are you going? I got to talk to you.
I got to make sure it's still. My phone will just stop recording for no reason.
It doesn't matter if people are listening or not. By now, people have tuned us out.
Yeah.
So if they're still listening now at this stage of the game,
they're really bored.
Yeah, they have nothing else going on probably in their life. But no, but kintsugi. So if you take a ceramic bowl and let's say I dropped it right now and it's shattered into all these big pieces, what would you do with the bowl first of all? If it was laying here and I just dropped it and it shattered all over the place,
I think I would, put it in a dustpan and throw it away.
Right. That's what I would do. But let's say...
They answer correctly.
Yeah. Well, let's say your mom here is really crafty. She'd
glue that sucker together.
Exactly. She might try to glue that broken bowl together, right? See, she said I would. Exactly. And how would she go about that in our society? How would you go about it, right? What would you use? To put the bowl back together.
Speech?
Yeah, what would you do to put the bowl back together?
I'd be worried about getting cut, and then my anxiety would be going back.
What kind of adhesive would you use? Probably like a clear glue or something? Something adhesive?
So I don't look...
Yeah.
Like a hot glue, maybe.
Okay. So you're gluing these pieces back together, and you get done. The objective of what you're trying to do, at least in our society, is to make it look like the original, right?
Yeah.
As close as you can.
Like kind of make it, because it's kind of like a puzzle at that point. Make sure it fits all
right.
Nice.
Yeah, and so hopefully it looks like it did before you broke it. And if it looks really close to it, you might keep it.
Yeah.
But if it still looks kind of rough, you're probably going to okay.
Get rid of it?
Yeah, right. So that's our society. That's what we think. That's what we operate. The Japanese tradition, through kintsugi, is they use liquid gold. And the gold is the adhesive, and they put it back together, and you see all the broken lines, but it's all these gold lines, and it looks beautiful. Like if I showed you a picture, you'd be like, that's gorgeous. And those pieces then that might have been a $10 or $15 bowl can go for $115 because the gold increased the value.
Yeah.
So after it was broken, it became more valuable. And to me, that's like so profound about us as humans.
Wow, I see what you did there.
Because we get broken and we try to put ourselves back together so that we look and feel exactly the way we did before we were broken. And you can't. It's not going to be the same.
And it's kind of like looking at some of these famous artists, like, for example, that one that's really famous, Billie Eilish. She wrote all that music about her depression.
Mm-hmm.
She was broken, and then she turned into $1 billion. Look at her now. So
good point. Yeah, and you see where I'm going with that.
Yeah, I see. I like that.
And so what I talk about is the fact that it's not putting yourself back together that is, like, sometimes you can't put yourself back together. You throw it away. You throw your life away, right? Through drugs, alcohol, whatever. You just like, I'm done.
Just give up.
Yeah. Most of the time we put ourselves back together, but we have an expectation that it's going to be like it was before, and it's not going to be the same. And so in our society, we try to hide those imperfections and try to, okay, I'm still the same. Just believe me. You're trying to convince yourself that you're the same.
Yeah.
But in that Japanese way of doing it, they embrace the brokenness. They highlight it through an art form, and they make it more valuable than it was before, just in a new way. And I think that's so profound. Like, we can do the same. That's what...
With our lives.
Exactly. And I think that's the best way of looking at life after you've been broken. You can put yourself back together. You can make it life more valuable than it was before, but it's not going to be what it was before. You have to accept that piece.
And except for, you know, some things may not ever work again, but you got all these other pieces that are glued and fine.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I love that analogy. I just love that story. I think it's really valuable. And I try to share that when I go out.
Like it because I'm a very picture-minded person, and figure of speech is like that. It really helps me see another perspective on life. And
there's a second story that I'll share with you for anybody that might still be bored and listening.
No, I liked that one.
There's one more.
Better not be as cool as that one.
This one, I think, so you listen to my song Fight Another Day, which I just mentioned a little bit ago. We talked about that. And if you listen to the video...
is that one out yet?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube.
Check that one out.
Yeah.
It's a tearjerker.
So the third verse talks about the buffalo. I forget the words off the top of my head now that we're talking, but the buffalo power through the storm with their amazing form. Like, they just, because they know that sunshine waits on the other side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's based on a true story.
Really?
That third verse is based off of a lesson I learned. I heard it from a podcast or something one time. I didn't believe it. I'm like, yeah, right. Yeah. So I went and did the research, and sure enough, it's true. So the researchers were studying cow and buffalo and the reaction to storms when they rolled in. And they noticed the cow would turn and go away from the storm, trying to avoid it. Makes sense. But eventually they would run out of fence, and the storm would still come through, and they would cower and try to avoid getting injured. They noticed the buffalo, though, would turn and run into the storm. And they were confused because the buffalo are supposed to be allegedly smarter than the cow.
Yeah.
But yet in this situation, it didn't seem like it, right? You're like, it's kind of dumb. Why would you go?
Yeah, why?
So when they kept studying, they realized the buffalo were trying to run into and through the storm, because they realized the sunshine was on the other side of the storm, and they were trying to get through it as fast as they can to get back to the sunshine.
Wow.
And so that's what that third verse is about, is that the idea that...
Don't run away from the storm. Face it.
Power through it.
Power through it.
And then get back to the sunshine.
That was even better. I love that one better.
Yeah, I like the first one for the analogy. I love that one for the fact that we could be more like the buffalo, because most of us are running from the storm.
Because I mean, you know, I've had times in my life where I was a runner, and the more you ran away from yourself, your happiness, your goals, your everything, until you learn to face it. And it's about healing from your past. You know, the longer you are the victim of your past, you will never be the reflection of the future. So I say, no matter how hard life has beat you down, you got to find a way to... You don't have to be the victim of it. You don't have to. You don't have to hold on to it. You don't have to let it become you. Instead, you can make life out of lemonade and just go forward with it. Make something out of it. Use it as your gas. I never thought my brokenness, my pain, the things in my past could fuel my fire. I thought it was always a curse, until I learned, wow, these are actually tools. Mm-hmm. You know, what life gives us tools. They're not pretty. They're not fun. They bite you in the ass. I mean, it hurts when you go through these things, but it's all to make you stronger, and it's all to humble you in a way. I think life, if you're not humble, life will humble you.
I agree. That's great way to put it.
Not saying that you deserve losing your child, but there's a lesson out of it, and we just have to look at, if we don't look at it that way, we'll never find happiness.
I agree 100,000%. You know, I look back, when I was 16 years old, I was like this athletic kid. I was really good at sports.
Is this when you got hurt?
Yeah, and I broke my neck.
Yeah.
And I was paralyzed. Couldn't walk. I learned to walk again. I learned to feed myself again. How to get out of the wheelchair.
Was it almost like a brain injury? Like you kind of had a...
It was a C4, C5. I broke the neck itself.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And so I still have effects from that my whole life. But I learned to kind of like hide it and adapt with it. But as I'm getting older, you see it a little more often when I've dragged.
And this was in high school?
This was high school.
So that ended your sport. You weren't able to do sports.
Right. But so what I was going to say was, as negative as that moment was, and it was negative, that was a tough journey to recover, but I couldn't play anymore. So I started coaching. And as you know, I've coached my entire life in youth sports at some level, with the school, varsity level, youth, little league, pee-wee, you know, baseball, basketball, all of it. And I've had a great experience with that over the course here. And hopefully, you know, I'm sure I upset some kids, but also I think I positively impacted some kids.
Yeah.
And so I would have never done that. I don't think I would have done that if I hadn't gotten injured.
I
definitely
know a lot
want
of
to
people
spend,
love you.
well,
I mean, I see their Facebook posts of memories of when you were a basketball coach and baseball. And
well, it was so funny because I decided I retired from coaching high school level girls basketball team and came back home. I said, I'm going to take some time off. I took one season off. And the varsity boys coach here at Cardington said, we need someone to coach the 7th grade this year. And I'm not going back and coaching 7th grade after coaching varsity all these years.
Yeah.
And then he told me what a special group he had. And so I went down there and I coached this last year with them, and they were a special group, and we ended up winning the league, but they were a special group, and some special players in that group that are probably gonna have really great high school careers. Mm-hmm. And it was so much fun that I really didn't want to do it anymore, but I may do it one more season just to help them through junior high and then pass them off and then be like, now I am done. Like
30 years later, he's coaching still.
Yeah, I know. I know. But my point,
it's in your spirit though. I mean, you came from, I mean, you lost that gift like the bowl. You weren't able to do sports again.
Right.
But you made something out of it, and it fed your soul.
And that was my point of this whole thing. Got sidetracked a little story, but yeah, I mean, if I hadn't had that injury, I probably wouldn't have done the things I did for as long as I have. Also, I feel like that now has led me to this moment where I'm moving away from coaching sports and youth into coaching more important things, even like, you know, about coaching people after adversity. Mm-hmm. How do I work through this? How do I get my life back? How do I move on? How do I move on is a horrible term. Move forward is what I meant to say. How do I move forward? How do I keep plugging along?
I like that, correct? Like, okay, I want you to say that again, like, because I think that is strong, that right there. Moving on, and it's on every quote, and it's wrong. I mean, the way you explain it to me, it is wrong.
It is wrong.
It's not about moving on.
Because you have to live with it.
Yeah.
But you have to keep moving forward with it. You know, it's just part of you now. It's
Yeah.
part of what you've experienced. And you can't move on and leave it here because it's still part of who you are. And so you have to learn to move forward with it, but in a way that you can manage it. As you said earlier, use it as a painful maybe reminder or a driving force to keep going and do something better. Right? I mean, so that's the key. But the coaching got me there. Losing my son, maybe become an author. I would have never written this book.
An awesome author.
I would have never written a children's book. Never in 1,000,000 years. You know, just would not have done it. It wasn't my forte, but I did this in his memory and as a way to honor him, but also make a positive impact on others. And then from there, you know, I love writing. I got into writing music, and now that's my passion. I love writing music because it's just like writing the children's book. You're connecting with people in a positive way. And so when I write the music, the boy band stuff I write just for fun. You know, it's like that party music like we talked about. Just it's a good time. But the other stuff that I perform, that I want my voice to be connected with, it's got a very impactful message in all the songs that I write.
Great. You know what I'm doing?
Yeah, checking the phone.
Keep talking.
No, really. I mean, we talked for quite some time. I'm really done talking. I just, you know, my point was I was tying this together, just saying that there's a way forward in a positive way, no matter what the adversity. Look at all the things that I've been able to accomplish after all these horrible things, and hopefully hopefully I stay healthy and I can do a lot more things in the years I have left. That's my, what book you got there?
Oh, I brought it because I know the wind was going to be.
Oh, you've been hugging this whole time. I was like, do you have a book that you want to share with the world today?
Okay. It like tells you how to read hands and all this stuff, and I don't really need it to learn how to read people, but it is a wind blocker. Because I sat you there, the wind's coming this way. The wind won't blow in your mic, but it will blow in mine. But you can look at the book, Tim.
Author Liz Dean, The Ultimate Guide to...
We better get a sponsor. I better get a sponsor. It is the perfect
wind protector. If nothing else, you get nothing else out of this beautiful, wonderful... It's thick, it's warm,
we get today?
It blocks wind. Buy it
Disney.
Today.
We need a sponsor from Disney. We've mentioned them.
Yeah, we talked about Disney World. We talked about all kinds of stuff. I don't know. A lot of stuff.
Well, real quick, your radio show. We need to talk about that.
Radio show, yeah. So through the nonprofit, so I formed a nonprofit, 501c3 charity, in Seth's name. We give out a scholarship every year at the Cardington School to a graduating senior. That's always kind of a fun thing to give back. Again, positive things you can do. And then recently we started building out a radio station, a community radio station. But it's going to be internet based, so anybody in the whole nation could tune in.
So it's on internet, not...
Yeah, it's not a physical location. It's not a physical location. So traditional radio would be like, you listen to WNCI for our area out of Columbus.
So not out of your car.
Right. No.
You got to be on the internet to reach it?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
And so we went through a company that does that and gets you all the licensing and everything. And so the cool thing is it's not meant to be like a famous top station. It's meant to be a local station that we can have community news, talk about community events. Hey, here's what's going on in the area today or this week.
It'll be famous.
But my Faith Beyond show and things we're talking about today and the messages, I'm going to air that on there. I'm going to do that live. But the nice thing is I'll be able to play music you know from the radio, not just my music, but I'll have licensing then to be able to take a break. So if you and I were interviewing, and then we could play.
Let's have them on.
I would love to talk to that drummer who lost his arm.
Yeah, and talk about how he...
I read his story, and he has a heck of a story to share, and I would love to get him on that show at some point in time. But those kinds of things I'm going to do. So I'm going to have my version of a show like this. We're going to talk about and hopefully inspiring people's stories. We'll talk about fitness and health, things you can do to improve your life. But the radio station itself is going to be really cool. It's going to be, we're calling it old school cool, because it's all going to be flashback type stuff, like from the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, anything that's a little older. Some new music just for the fun of it, but mostly it's going to be probably older. And it may depend on the time of day, right? So maybe we have a 4 to 6 show is newer music.
Different genres.
Yeah, maybe it's new music. Maybe 6 to 8 on Thursday, it's 90s country. Then on Friday night, maybe it's retro rock. And, just whatever, people want to try and play around with and have fun with. It's not meant to be super professional. Although I want my show to be, but it's not all going to be like,
Your stuff is very professional. My platform, most of you guys know, it's very winged. I'm like 4 episodes behind on my show, so I have to...
I'm just impressed. We've sat here for an hour, whatever it's been, and you've only dropped one foul word. Yeah, that's it.
Are you proud of it?
That means shocked, I could do baby.
Live radio.
Yes. Yeah, I was like, wow.
I'm going to try to do it well for Tim, because I know your followers are family friendly, and then my followers are mainly all adults. So.
Yeah, they're like, I don't give a hell.
Maybe one kid.
What you say. Yeah.
But did we cover everything? Yeah. Any upcoming events that you're doing?
No, I'm laying low right now. Like I'm writing my songs, and I'm trying to learn some of the new tools that are out there. Some of whether it's AI or just different software tools to create my own videos. To make I want really powerful videos to accompany like the songs that I'm writing, because I think there's really good messages. But in this day and age, those videos are everything to go along with that song. And if you can combine the two of those, well, you got some really cool stuff. So I'm working on that right now behind the scenes. That's where my attention, and the radio station.
When do you think
keep me
the
busy.
radio station will start, or has it already started?
It could have rolled out already, which I was hoping for May. I just don't think that's realistic because I'm still working on. I want the formatting to be right and the setup, and I want a lot of it.
More content too.
Yeah, and I want to make sure everything's lined up and people are trained properly to work the software, and I don't want any like those kind of. So it may even be later this summer or the fall, but it'll be this year at some point. We'll get it rolled out and get it going before the holidays for sure.
And now, how do people find you and reach you?
Pretty much at Tim Maceyko everywhere, social media.
Honest to God, if you look up Tim Maceyko on Google, all of your stuff pops up.
That's good.
You're everywhere on there. So.
Well, I got my website, timmaceyko.com, but I don't really know if I'm using that a lot because I don't know that's a website's where I'm at. I mean, I guess I could keep it to, do some things with, but I haven't used it lately very much.
But mainly people use Facebook and stuff. So
yeah, again, I'm getting to the short videos with the TikToking and TikTok-a-doca.
TikTok.
Yeah, I watched a movie where he's like, the guy's like, the older guy, he's like talking to younger kids, and they go, yeah, we put it on the web. He goes, yeah, on the line. They're like, online. He's like, yeah, on the line. They're like, it's online. He's like, that's what I said, on the line. And it's just so funny because you're like, you don't have the terms.
Come on, get it right, dude. Get with the generation.
So I'm on the line someplace, right? Whether it's TikTok or Facebook or YouTube. I'm really starting to learn to like YouTube. Again, I'm not big for me being on the videos, but I like the platform to create videos that have the music and all that. So
I love YouTube. They don't cancel me. And I've said some dirty stuff. I mean, I had some dirty episodes on my show. Yeah. We did, I think one of my episodes is called Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll, and we talk about all the fun stuff. And I haven't been canceled yet.
All right. Well, let me put on a different hat and a few drinks, and we can talk that stuff.
Oh yeah.
And
we'll do another episode.
It won't be me. It'll be my twin brother Jim.
Yeah, your twin brother.
My twin brother Jim. He's not a good guy.
You can cancel Jim, but not Tim.
Not Tim. Tim's got to be the good guy, but we all got a Jim in our life. We all got a side.
Jim looks exactly like him. Same everything.
Yeah, he just a lot more likely to drink.
Very dirty.
Yeah, he's not a guy that I would admire. Not a guy I'd admire at all. Definitely not part of my family.
But now I don't have a twin. I'm just me.
Yeah, you're all rolled into one.
Yeah.
You get what you get with Colt.
Yeah.
Right? No, I do think though everyone has you want to portray yourself in a positive way and in a professional way, especially when you're doing the things I'm trying to work with. At the same time, the people I'm working with have already gone through the worst possible hell they could go through. So dropping a few cuss words or having a few drinks together,
anything compared to what? Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't put that out on the social media, just because.
And it helps you because when you do cuss, it does sense. My YouTube censored as crap. Like if you're under 18, you can't really get on a lot of my videos because YouTube will kick you off. Because.
Well, and remember, I am getting older, as you said. I'm old now. And the way I was raised, you just didn't talk like that. Like there's a place and time to do it. And on a show like that is not the way I was raised, the time to do it. Right?
And now when you look at it, it's everywhere.
Oh,
it's
and it's shocking, the things I hear.
It's a dirty world, isn't it?
Even the politicians and all that, some of the things, and both sides, I'm not taking the side at all. But some of the things they say and do, you're just 20 years ago.
The president saying that right now.
Yeah. I'm not even talking about some of the senators and people. You're just 20 years ago, that would have got you voted out of office. And now it's just
burned at the stake.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
And now it's just every day you hear somebody says something crazy or hating on the other one.
Yeah.
That's why I avoid. Again, too much negativity for me. I know who I am. I know what my values are. I know what I think is important.
You know what you're worth.
Yeah. And so I don't need to get into any of that stuff. Yeah, I'm good. Someone said you need to run for political office. So why? Why would I want to do that? That's just so crazy.
I think it's cool because me and you, we got political, but we're able to get political where we are able to connect with everybody because that's where I am on the political spectrum. I'm just right down in the middle because I've had so many people on my show that's left, right, and we're all able to sit down and have a conversation and walk out still being friends. That's what our country needs. We need to be friends again. We need to be okay that so-and-so voted. We need to be okay that, this person feels strongly about this. And it's just, I think people's political views is based on what they experienced in their life. So everyone has right to feel the way they want to feel.
I think we get exposed to a lot of the fringe views through social media because they're the ones that get the sound bites.
Mm-hmm.
So you're far over here and you're far over here. But I think the vast majority fall right in that middle ground for the most part. You know, we could maybe lean a little this way or a little that way, but most of us
and
fall.
I'm starting to see a lot of more people come together where there's hope in humanity again.
That's what you want right there.
Yeah.
Like, when you come back together and sit down and again, I hate social media in the sense that you'll say, not you particularly, you'll say something on social media that you would never say. If we were sitting here having a drink together,
yeah,
you wouldn't talk like that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say those things. We could have totally different views.
What I call those keyboard warriors.
Yeah. And that's the worst because those people even know better. And later they probably would have regretted if they saw you. They'd be like, oh, and they feel dumb about it.
Right? Or they're embarrassed or scared. Like,
yeah. I mean, I think most people, they just spout off in the heat of the moment. And I can't believe they really mean some of the things they say.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's easy to do that on Facebook or social media in general. But I'll pass. I'll pass.
Well, I enjoyed this podcast. We're going to have you on again because I love you because you can talk about anything and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a little funny and it's going to pull at your heartstrings a little bit. And that's what I love.
Definitely come back and talk some more and have you, once we get the radio show up and going, have you come on that. But yeah, I think we'll talk about some music and stuff next time. Like
do some projects, some live reading call-ins.
Yeah. It'll be fun.
We'll make it at 10 if I do cuss, though.
Yeah.
We'll do like 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Make sure your kids are in bed. I might.
Yeah. Either maybe Tim and Jim my twin brother can show up too.
Jim will be there.
I could be here, and then I have Jim over here sitting on the couch.
And that will be an audio one, right? not visual.
All right, Colton, thanks for having me, man. This is fun. It's always good. I always love this, hanging out and just chilling.
Thank you guys for watching. Again, Tim Maceyko on any platform. You can find him on Google. And this was episode 17. See ya, everybody.